Aviv's mayor makes a controversial visit to the Temple Mount as Israel's prime minister vows to continue building throughout the capital. A new Islamic State video shows a British hostage reporting in favor of the terror group's operations in KOBANE. And thousands attend a rally in Hong Kong to mark the one-month anniversary of the so-called Umbrella Revolution. Good afternoon, I'm Shachar Peled. You're watching i24 News. Jerusalem Mayor Nir Barkat made a controversial visit to the Temple Mount today, angering Palestinians who consider Jewish visits to the Al-Aqsa Mosque as part of an Israeli agenda to alter a long-preserved status quo. The move comes as tensions remain high in the capital, which has been rocked by days of violent clashes. And amid ongoing controversy over his approval of new settlement projects, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reiterated today that his government would continue to build in Jerusalem, the nation's capital.
We will continue to build in Jerusalem, our eternal capital. I hear those who say that now is not a fitting time to build in Jerusalem. As far as I'm concerned, there's no time that is unfitting for building in Jerusalem. We have built in Jerusalem, we are building in Jerusalem, and we will continue to build in Jerusalem. When Abbas incites to murder Jews in Jerusalem, the international community is silent. And when we build in Jewish neighborhoods that everybody knows will remain in Israel as part of the peace deal, the world fumes. I do not accept this double standard.
And in Turkey, the country is reportedly increasing security measures along its border with Syria as the fighting in Kobane continues. While Ankara last week approved the passage of Peshmerga soldiers throughout its territory to fight alongside Kurds in the town, they have yet to arrive. Meanwhile, the Islamic State group posted a video online in which British journalist John Cantley, held hostage since November 2012, is seen reporting from a location said to be Kobane. Here's more in the following report.
Hello, I'm John Cantley, and today we're in the city of Kobane on the Syrian-Turkish border. That is, in fact, Turkey right behind me, and we are here in the heart of the so-called PKK safe zone, which is now controlled entirely by the Islamic State.
It might look like a typical news report opener, but it is sure not. British hostage John Cantley is starring in this new video released by Islamic State militants in which he purports to speak from Kobane.
Now, the Western media, and I can't see any of their journalists here in the city of Kobane, have been saying recently that the Islamic State are on the retreat.
Cantley, in a way, continues what he started 5 weeks ago when he appeared in a video slamming the Western media as well as the US and UK for being the real aggressors in the Levant and putting their citizens in harm's way.
I'm going to show you the truth as the Western media tries to drag the public back to the abyss of another war with the Islamic State.
Islamic State fighters have been trying to capture Kobane for over a month, pressing on despite US-led airstrikes on their positions and the deaths of hundreds of their fighters. This new Cantley video comes to prove that the Kobane battle, both on the ground and in the public's perception, is still raging on.
And thousands of people held a rally in Hong Kong this evening to mark 1 month since pro-democracy activists first took to the streets in what became known as the Umbrella Revolution. Though the number of protesters occupying the city's central districts has dwindled, student leaders have vowed to continue their fight to secure freedoms from Beijing. And following the landslide victory by pro-Europe parties in Ukraine's parliamentary election this week, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Moscow will recognize the results. Lavrov was clear, however, that swaths of the country, primarily in the east, boycotted the vote and that Russia would also recognize a poll set to be held in those rebel-held areas next week.
And I think we will recognize the results of this election because it is very important for us, for Ukraine, to finally have the authorities that are not fighting each other or are involved in the tug of war between the West and the East, but rather will deal with the real issues facing the country and will think how to ensure the unity of the country, how to ensure that all citizens no matter what language they speak and what political views they have, find their place within Ukraine.
We move now to the UK, where British Prime Minister David Cameron continues to refuse a demand by the EU to pay Brussels some €2 billion. This despite a warning that the UK would face penalties if it does not pay by December 1st. The adjusted sum has caused controversy in England.
It is British taxpayers' money, and it is not small change, but it is a vast sum. Britain will not be paying €2 billion to anyone on the 1st of December. And we reject this scale of payment. At the end of 2017, it will not be the Brussels bureaucracy or the politicians of any party who will decide whether we remain in the EU or not. If I'm Prime Minister, it will be the British people who make that decision through an in-out referendum.
US Ambassador to the UN Samantha Power arrived in Sierra Leone in order to closely review the country's handling of the Ebola crisis. In the capital Freetown, the number of safe burials of victims has tripled in the past week, a turnaround Power described as, quote, encouraging. Meanwhile, back in the US, the debate over a quarantine policy implemented by 3 states is heating up. I24 News reporter Yoav Borowitz has the story.
Quarantine is a subject of criticism in the United States. The American nurse returned from Sierra Leone, where she provided treatment to sick Ebola patients, has finally been authorized to go home. In spite of an absence of symptoms, she was quarantined in a tent adjacent to a hospital as a preventive measure. This made her very angry. The scandal reached the White House, which urged the New Jersey governor to lift the quarantine.
Because of her hard work, we are going to stop this disease in its tracks in West Africa, and that is the only way that we can eliminate the risk that this disease poses to the American people. So her service and commitment to this cause is something that should be honored and respected, and I don't think we do that by making her live in a tent for 2 or 3 days.
The decision was taken on Friday by 3 states, including New Jersey and Illinois. As Ebola continues to spread in West African nations, many experts see these preventive measures as discouraging potential volunteers.
It's very important that healthcare workers who come leave their families, leave their relatively comfortable lives, and visit here and are willing to put themselves in the vicinity of Ebola.
These are fears that are sowing discord in a crisis situation. The New York mayor has strongly criticized the decision of the New Jersey governor, saying that the nurse in question does not present a risk, but rather is a humiliated heroine.
And in Afghanistan, US and British troops have packed up and left their bases in the south of the country after 13 years of war. Here's more.
Nightfall in Helmand province, southern Afghanistan. US Marine Tai has clocked up some 1,200 hours on duty here since arriving 5 months ago. His mission, to thwart any final Taliban attacks on the base before US troops pull out for good in the morning.
It's pretty awesome being the last Marines here, closing down the base. I'm just glad I got to come here and participate in, what we're doing. So that's been a great experience.
A little earlier, US and British forces officially ended operations in the region. The handover bringing to a close 13 years of Western combat activity. Now it's down to the Afghan National Army to provide security.
Today I'm both happy and I'm sad. I'm happy that they're going home, but I'm sad because they're my friends and we've worked together for 6 years.
The final night passed without any incident, and the next morning Afghan troops assumed the command. The US and UK have paid a heavy price in Afghanistan. More than 2,300 Americans have been killed, while Britain has lost 453 soldiers in the campaign launched after the September the 11th attacks. For the US Marines, there's a feeling of mission accomplished.
And that's all for now. Join us again in 20 minutes. I'm Shachar Peled. Thank you for watching.